yourself, and then thanks, Alia. And then I'll let her take over. You got it. It's all yours.
All right. Thank you all. First off, thank you for having me. My name is Ana Zambrano. I'm the recruitment advisor for the College of Education at Cal State LA. I work with all prospective students from the first year that are interested in education to any post-baccalaureate, someone that already has a bachelor's degree or a master's degree that is considering a program in the College of Education. Um, the the college itself has many different programs, mostly focused on graduate school. So those we have a lot of programs at the master's and PhD and EDD level. Um, but we do have 2 undergraduate programs, and I'll be talking about the program specific to the College of Education. But we want to focus on teaching itself. Now, I did see a lot of, and for those of you that are just joining us, welcome. If you're just joining us, go ahead and type in what you're interested in teaching in the chat. And thank you everyone who has already introduced themselves. I appreciate that for sure. Alyssa, thank you again for having me, and we'll get started now. So just a little bit about, and I'll start with the big picture, and then we'll move on to the smaller, just program specific conversation. So a little bit about Cal State LA. We are ranked number 1 in upward mobility. We have conferred, which means that we issue the most bachelor's degrees in for Hispanic and Asian American or Latina. We are also ranked among the best for veterans, and we are also one of the top universities in the Western region. Now, Cal State LA is broken up into what's called colleges. Most people, when they come to Cal State LA, they hear, oh, you're in the College of Arts and Letters. And they say, well, no, I'm in Cal State LA. Yes, there are, just like you all have departments or divisions, we have colleges. So the College of Arts and Letters, College of Business and Economics, College of Education, the College of Engineering and Computer Science, the College of Health and Human Services, Natural and Social Sciences, Ethnic Studies, and the Honors College. All of these different colleges focus on different disciplines. So as you can imagine, the College of Education is focused on teaching, education as a whole, not just teaching specifically. We also focus on counseling. We also focus on literacy. So a lot of things that are related to education, that's what we focus on. Now, one thing to be very aware of is that to become a teacher, to become an educator, any bachelor's degree can help you to go into the teaching field. However, there are specific majors that can help you prepare better, and they also can help you with certain ways out of certain exams. Now, like I said, I understand that we have a lot of interest in teaching at the college level. College does not require, teaching at the college level does not require a teaching credential. What it does require is a master's degree or higher. And I know, I think Anthony, you mentioned that you want to go into teaching math. So in your specific case, I would highly encourage you to look into graduate programs that are focused on math, so that you can teach at the college level. Now, the career paths tend to be a little bit more limited, sometimes at the graduate level. So I always encourage, if you want a little bit more of a safety net, it's always going to be good to have an actual teaching credential to teach at the K-12 setting, because there are high schools, elementary schools throughout California. You can also use this license in other states as well. Now, you all know that there is a teacher shortage, very, very dire teacher shortage right now in California, actually across the nation. I don't know if y'all can see my screen.
I know, I don't think we could see your screen, so I started sharing. But if you
Oh,
want
it's
to,
okay. Yeah. Let me try it again. See if you can
it's like
see
I
it.
didn't see anything.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yay,
Okay,
thank
let
you.
me go back a little bit more just so that you all can see the different colleges. I did mention them. The colleges or the departments that focus a little bit more on education or that can prepare you to become a teacher include arts and letters, obviously the College of Education, the College of Natural and Social Sciences, and the College of Ethnic Studies also has a program for multiple subjects. A lot of people know liberal studies as the major for teaching in elementary. The Cal State LA is unique in that we have 4 majors that prepare you to become an elementary school teacher or a special education teacher. Single subject, if you want to teach high school, or I also did see a lot of high school or middle school, that is what's called a single subject credential, which means that you focus on one specific subject. So if you know that you want to teach at that level, you want to start thinking about the subject that you want to teach. If you are interested in teaching English, I would highly encourage you to transfer in as an English major so that you can focus on the discipline. Now, you're still going to need the teaching license, the teaching credential, but at least you'll understand what you will be teaching. One thing that I also like to explain is the teaching credential, and I think you're all in the teacher prep pathway, so you were probably already familiar with some of this. If you're not, you will be familiar, very, very familiar with it when you get here, when you get to Cal State LA. But the teaching credential is a license. This is something that is issued by the state. The degree, a bachelor's degree, an associate's degree, a master's degree, is issued by the institution, by the university or the college that you're attending. But the license, the teaching credential, is issued by the state. So you have to go through a lot of requirements to get that license. Now let's go beyond this. Here, the main reasons to go into teaching include you want to maybe make an impact in your community. You want to make an impact in children's lives, provide leadership and mentorship. You may want to work in inclusive classrooms, or maybe you just want to give back to your community. Does anyone maybe want to share? You don't have to do this very extensively, but why do you want to go into teaching?
Well, for me personally, I had the greatest impact back in middle school with a math professor and a math teacher and a English teacher that really pushed me to want to become better and kind of follow my dreams. And I kind of just went with that. And out of college, I did what I was able to do music for a while, and then followed that. And then when COVID hit, came back to school and had, what, I want to have that impact as well.
Great to hear that. Yeah, a lot of people, and I'm glad to hear this. A positive, a positive take. I have heard in the past also the opposite. I had a very bad experience, and this is just for stories like, I had a bad experience in the classroom, and now I want to go and make a difference and change what I did not like, which is also a really good reason to go into it. I love hearing the positive side, that when you have a good experience with your teachers, with your professors. So thank you very much for sharing, Anthony. Now, a few of the things that you are probably already exploring, or some of the reasons why you're all here, is because you have these different skills that prepare you to be an educator, that make a good educator. Soft skills, these are things that you innately have, things that you were born with, that you've grown up with, that you probably learned from your family. This includes cultural competence, time management, leadership, adaptability, critical thinking, emotional intelligence. You know how to read people and how to support them better. You're probably resilient, creative, and you're a problem solver. A lot of the times, educators are also lifelong learners, so they like going to school, and they like being in the classroom. So those are soft skills. Now, the hard skills, these are things that you're learning in school, either now in community college or when you get to a teaching credential program. These include computer literacy, and I know you're practicing that quite a bit in school now. Administrative skills, classroom management, curriculum planning, analytical reasoning, foreign language. If you are bilingual or multilingual, you may want to hone in on those skills and enhance them a little bit more, so that when you are a teacher, you can support students who are also bilingual or multilingual. and their families as well. You also learn subject-specific knowledge, and you learn assessment skills and risk management. So these are some of the reasons, or some of the things that make really good teachers. Okay, delay and awesome. I love this. Yeah, this is also a lot of the reason, and thank you for sharing this, Nancy. I think a lot of the time when people that go into the education specialist setting, it's because they have experience with their families. So yeah, these are really good reasons, and these are the things that you can learn. I know you mentioned that you want to learn how to support your child and also children in her same situation. So these are all, again, great reasons to go into teaching. Now, like I said, the credential is something that is issued by the state. So a lot of the things that we ask in the credential program, not just here at Cal State LA, but across the board in other credential programs, are things that the state mandates. So you have to meet the minimum education requirements, which include a bachelor's degree. You have to complete field work, pass certain exams or assessments, or the equivalents. We'll talk about the equivalents today also. You have to apply to be certified. So you have to go through the Commission on Teacher Credentialing. For those of you that are wanting to go into teaching, I highly encourage you to start exploring the CTC, Commission on Teacher Credentialing website, and learn a little bit about the site itself, or the commission itself, because you're going to need to be familiar with the site extensively. You also need to learn, obviously you need to practice a little bit about of these skills. And when you complete the teaching credential, or rather, if you are going through an integrated program, you go through what's called the preliminary credential. You get this is your license, but then you have to do extra work. And I'm not going to talk about that extra work right now. This is not something that you need to focus on right now. Your main focus, actually, your immediate focus for all of you, is to transfer, to get your bachelor's degree. The secondary focus would be your preliminary credential. And then the final and culminating focus would be what's called your clear or your induction program. And that is professional development that is required by the state. So the state has a two-tiered system. You have to complete the preliminary and then the clear. Now, at Cal State LA, we offer multiple subject credential. We have single subject credential, education specialist options in mild to moderate support needs, extensive support needs, visual impairments, and early childhood special education. When you're working in a multiple subject setting, you're working with children from kindergarten through 8th grade in a general education setting. In single subject, you're focusing on one specific subject. Typically, this is middle school or high school, but there are some subjects where you work in elementary as well. And then with the education specialist credential, most options except for early childhood, you can work in kindergarten, but you can also work in 12th grade. The early childhood or the education specialist credential is unique because you're working with children who can be either just a couple of grades behind or multiple grades behind. So that's why you can work in all settings. Early childhood special education is early intervention. So you work with children from 0 to 5 years of age. The different ways to go into teaching is, like I mentioned, the integrated program. You complete 4 years and then 1 year of the credential. So it's technically 5 years to complete, including so when you're transferring to Cal State LA, you would start year 3. So it would be those year 3, year 4, and maybe 1 semester or 1 extra year to complete the rest of the credential. That's an integrated program. The traditional path to go into teaching, you complete your bachelor's degree, and then you start your credential after you graduate. There's what's called an intern pathway, and this is when you have completed your bachelor's degree, certain exam requirements. You can start working as a teacher of record. So it means that you're working, like you're teaching while completing your credential requirements. And then there's also a residency path. The residency path is also, you're also in the classroom all day practicing your teaching skills. But you're with another teacher. So you're not in your own classroom. You are working with another teacher for an extended period of time. Typically, it's about a year. And then these are the requirements that the state mandates for you to earn your bachelor, your teaching, your preliminary teaching credential. You need your bachelor's degree, your basic skills requirement, subject matter competence. RECA, if you're going to be a multiple subject or a special education teacher, you need to know how or show that you know how to read or how to teach reading and literacy and how to assess. So that's what's called RECA. So it's not something you need to stress about. Like you'll do this later on in the program, but it is required for multiple subject and special education. You also need the U.S. Constitution requirement, which if you're ready to transfer, you already have this class, so you can check that off your list. It's the political science class, so you probably have already taken it. You also will need, obviously, the teacher preparation program. You're going to need to complete the coursework for the licensure, and then you also need to be recommended. So you need to go through a program sponsor. You can't just kind of take a class here at Cal State LA and then go to another, go to, let's say, CSUN and then go to Long Beach, and then you can kind of mix and match. No, you have to complete the program because that program sponsor needs to recommend you to the state. Now, a little bit about the College of Education. I've already told you quite a bit, but we do focus on supporting diverse educators, and we really want to support anyone that is looking to go back to their community. So one of our mottos is to give back by going back. To give back to your community by going back and sharing your knowledge and supporting and empowering your students and the community as a whole. Now we focus on preschool, elementary, middle school, high school, education specialists at all levels. We also focus on supporting preparing reading specialists, school counselors, rehabilitation counselors, school psychologists, administrators. So if you want to become a principal, does anyone here want to become a principal in the future? Maybe raise your hand. No, I was saying you're not. If anyone is interested in becoming a principal or an administrator at any level in K-12 setting, you need to go through additional training. And so that's what's called an administrative credential. But you do need to have teaching experience before you go through that training. We also support or focus on research and instructional technology. So these are the different areas that the College of Education focuses on. Now we have the 2 undergraduate programs that I mentioned, the Bachelor of Science in Rehabilitation Counseling or Services, for those that are interested in becoming, working in human services, including social work. And then we have the Bachelor of Arts in Urban Learning. And this is specific for those that want to become teachers at the elementary or a K-12 setting or the education specialist setting. So this is a really good option for those of you that want to go into elementary school. And I'm not going to talk about the master's degree, so we do have several options for master's in education. Actually, just recently changed to master's in education for social change. We're focusing a lot on social change and social policy. If you want to become a multiple subject teacher, like I said, you work in the kindergarten through 8th grade setting, but if you want to go into single subject, you focus on one specific subject. So biology, chemistry, geological sciences, physics, foundational level science, which typically if you get a foundational level science or foundational level math credential, you're typically just working in middle school. You have more of a broad overview of science. But if you want to work in high school, then you focus on a more narrow lens, like chemistry, for instance.
May I ask to repeat that? I'm so sorry.
Sure. Foundational level science or foundational level math. Typically, it's general. It's before. For math, I know Anthony, you mentioned math, so I'm gonna share that. Typically, that's up to algebra, if I'm not mistaken. And then if you want to focus on high school, then you have to take a few more courses to specialize in that and get the full math credential. You'll notice there's a foundational level math and then a full math credential. And for the full math credential, which is at all grade levels, you can work up to, I think, calculus. You can teach calculus as well. So that's why there's different levels also for math and science. We have several different languages. So if anyone here is interested in teaching English, math, science, I'm sorry, English, Spanish, Mandarin, or any other language, it's always good to focus on that degree, on that, like, let's say I want to teach English. So I'm going to get a Bachelor of Arts in English because you're learning how, you're learning the subject that you're going to teach. So you become an expert in that subject, in essence. You still need to learn how to teach it, and that's what the credential does. Now, I mentioned the education specialist options already, but typically with education specialist credentials, you can work with children up to 22 years of age. And that's because the students in an education specialist setting with an IEP can, an individualized education plan, that's what it's called. These students need additional support so they can stay in school a little bit longer. So that's why they have up to 22 years of age to complete their high school degree or diploma. Now, these are the programs that can focus a little bit more on education. And so again, urban learning is one that focuses for multiple subjects or special education. We also have a unique option in urban learning where you can get both a multiple subject and a dual and a mild to moderate credential, education specialist credential. We're the only ones that offer that option. But again, single subject, you would go with art, English, music, theater, dance, industrial technology. For multiple subjects, these are the ones that, let's see if I have the, usually child development also focuses a little bit on education. It's not the main, that is not an integrated path. You still have to go through the traditional path to get the credential. So it's not integrated. But urban learning, liberal studies, and we also have Chicanics studies that is integrated, that has an integrated multiple subject credential. Now, these degrees here can waive you out of what's called the CSET, the subject matter exam. So this is one of the tests that's required for teachers. So you can waive out of, if you're going to teach art, then you can waive out of the CSET for art. If you want to teach elementary school, if you want to teach multiple subjects, then urban learning, liberal studies, and Chicanic studies, the integrated paths can waive you out of the CSET. Now there's another exam called the CBEST, the Basic Skills Requirement. And this can be met, also you can waive out of it with a B- or better in a college level reading, writing, or math. And I actually may have something here that will help you all. This is specific for Rio Hondo. Your A2, A3, and B4 requirements can help you waive out of the CBEST, the basic skills requirement. But you have to get a B- or better in the class to waive out of it. A C, although that C is a passing grade and you can transfer with a C, it will not waive you out of the CSET. So you'll want to make sure if you want to waive out of the test out of the CBEST, the basic skills exam, you want to aim for a B or better in these classes. Let's go back to the PowerPoint here. Now, like I said, the subject matter, the basic skills is just, it's basic skills, kindergarten through 8th grade content. So that's why you can waive out of that exam with those 3 courses. And they focus on reading, writing, and math. So that's why those 3 areas can waive you out of it. Now the subject or the subject matter, it's basically the content or the subject that we're going to be teaching. If you want to teach in an elementary school setting, urban learning, any option can waive you out of the degree, out of the CSET. Liberal studies, any option can waive you out of the CSET. Now, child development, only the teacher preparation pathway, and then the same thing with Chicanic studies. Only the teacher preparation pathway can waive you out of the CSET for multiple subjects and or special education. If you want to teach high school or special education, these degrees, agriculture, art, business, dance, English, world languages, health sciences, all of these degrees can waive you out of the subject matter for single subject in the subject that you're going to teach, or special education. You will notice, and I want you guys to notice this very, very closely, you do not see history in this list. For anyone here that's interested in teaching history, there's no credential for history. It is a credential for social science. And the reason why it's not history is because someone who teaches single subject history also can teach political science, government, economics, I think sometimes psychology and sociology. So that's why it is a single subject social science credential. Right now, I know that they're working on other policies, but right now, social science teacher can also teach ethnic studies. Like I said, I think there's steering away from that a little bit more now, but that is the credential that is currently in place for ethnic studies, for government, etc. So the history degree, as it stands, as a standalone degree, history, the general option, does not waive you out of the CSET or the subject matter. But if you get a history credential or a history degree, a Bachelor of Arts in History with teacher preparation, the teacher preparation pathway focuses specifically on the subject or the content that you're going to teach in a social science with a social science credential. Now, this is if you're going into an integrated path like urban learning, and I'm going to focus on urban learning because I'm biased and I'm in the College of Education, but as a transfer student, you're completing the first 2 years of school at Rio Hondo. You're currently doing these two, you're doing your lower division general education requirements. Now I don't remember, I think your guys are 100 level classes, 200 level classes. When you transfer to Cal State LA, these courses change, the number changes to 1,000 and 2,000 level classes. And those are the courses that you're currently doing. The first 2 years of school, you're doing that at community college. Now, when you transfer, you're going to be doing 3,000 and 4,000 level courses, which is year 3, year 4, and sometimes part of year 5. So this is what it looks like when you're in an integrated path. Now, this does not, don't think that this is exactly how you need to complete your major. This is just a general idea, a broad overview of what it would look like for transfer students to complete an integrated program, right? You complete your bachelor's degree requirements with your credential. Now, for some of you, you may be finishing the first year 3 and year 4, and then year 5, you do it after you graduate. And that's totally okay. That is a traditional pathway. Now, the benefit to doing it as an integrated student is that you're paying a little bit less for the credential. You're paying your undergraduate tuition, which currently, and if you're getting financial aid, you're covered with your with your financial aid. But currently, tuition is about $3,800 for undergraduates, $3,800 per semester. For post-baccalaureate, someone that already has a bachelor's degree and they're doing their credential, they pay about, I'm sorry, I said 3,800. 3,800 is for post-baccalaureates. I think you would be paying about 3,200 as an undergraduate student. Now, if you're doing a master's degree, then you'd be paying about 4,200 per semester. So it'll change depending on the level that of degree that you're earning. Now, for transfer students, right now, your main focus right now is to get your transfer over to Cal State LA. The main thing you want to focus on is finishing your general education courses. So you want to finish your 60 units, transferable units. You're going to complete your English composition, oral communication, critical thinking, and quantitative reasoning. And you'll notice, hopefully you've noticed, if you haven't, I'll point it out right now, you need your college level composition, college level critical thinking, and quantitative reasoning, which are the same courses that need the basic skills. So if you get a B or better in those classes, you're done with CBEP. You don't need to do anything extra. You're done. So those are that's a really good perk to someone starting at community college. You're getting things out of the way early. You are finishing certain requirements that you will no longer need to worry about after you transfer. And of course, a 2.0 transferable GPA. You need to have good academic standing, which I expect that you all have good academic standing because you've been working with your advisors or the counselors at Rio Hondo. So I expect that you're all doing what you need to do to get to where you need to get to. Now, we're currently accepting applications for fall 2024. The application deadline is from October 1st to November 30th. You can always contact me. Have my phone number there. I'm going to actually add my cell phone number in the chat. So if you have questions as you're going through the application process and you want to text me, I'm happy to answer your questions. Just obviously not at midnight. I'm not going to answer at that time. But I'm definitely willing to support you in any way possible to get you all to transfer to Cal State LA and to help you in the process. It is complicated, and I'm sure it is nerve-wracking for anyone that is going through the process right now. So this is what we're here for. And Anthony.
Oh yeah, I got a quick question. So I am transferring over, I think like 73 units, and but they said I have to have my Cal State LA transcripts on there when I transferred to you. If my GPA on there isn't so hot, do you take that into consideration when you're looking at the whole picture, or are you just looking at the units from Rio Hondo?
So they're going to take the overall GPA. I don't think you would have any problems. I think you're going to be okay if you are close to the 2.0. Are you at the 2.0 mark?
Well, right now I'm at a 3.89.
Okay. Yeah, you're going to be okay. Yeah,
but it's gonna. I know 100% it's gonna drop.
Yeah.
Like, not
Yeah,
the
he's talking about his Rio Hondo GPA, but when you incorporate the other transcripts from other colleges, like before he came hot and heavy at Rio Hondo, like it's different. So technically, yeah, they look at your cumulative GPA, but I think they predominantly just look at the Rio Hondo work.
They're going to be looking more closely, at the transferable courses. So anything that you're transferring, that's what they're going to be focusing on.
Oh, okay. That's what I was concerned with, because I just got off the phone. They said with Cal State, I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would see about, and I know the university oversees the admission requirements. So, but I would recommend and highly encourage you to try to have see if you can petition if there's any issues if you foresee having any issues with your GPA. I would recommend that you look into maybe petitioning, or and again, that's not a guarantee, but there's always a good chance that you can work something out.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course.
That was a great opportunity for questions. I know, Anthony. Are there any other questions that anybody else may have?
I had a question. So I am currently applying to transfer, and I wanted to know if I was looking on the website, and for the urban learning, I'm trying to do I'm trying to do the multiple subject integrated option with the
Mhm.
urban learning.
Okay.
So getting the credential and getting the bachelor's degree.
Mhm.
But so I was looking and the requirements were having 2 letters of recommendation, an interview,
Don't
and
worry
like a
about that.
2.0
You're not there yet. You do all of that when you get here. So don't
Oh,
worry
okay
about
then.
all of that yet. Just focus on
Okay,
getting your stuff for that to transfer. And everything that's on Cal State Apply. Only focus on Cal State Apply.
okay. Thank you.
And by the
Any,
way,
huh?
I will say, I teach in urban learning. I teach the introduction when you're transfer students. There's a class called You Learn 3000, and that's actually what we work on in that class. We work on the application. We work on success preparation. So we work on all of that stuff. So again, don't worry about that piece yet because you're not there yet. That happens when you transfer.
Very nice. Any other questions? I like the slide you were just showing, like you left on too, because it's like you guys already all know that. Like you guys all have, for the most part, your English 101, your critical thinking, so your English 201, your philosophy class, your quantitative reasoning, your transferable level math, and your communications class, so speech. So you guys all have, we're good. Met with a lot of you.
Yeah, and if you take political science and you have a C or better, then that you've already met one of the credential requirements.
Yeah.
Just by
I have a
having that
question,
test.
Anna. So, as counselor, I always gear students to take the political science and American history. They
Mhm.
can still technically get in without it, though, huh?
Technically, yes.
Technic
Yeah,
Technically, yeah.
yeah,
But we encourage, yeah. Okay.
yeah. But it should be taken because it's required anyway. So if they don't take it at community college, they'll have to take it here. So it's
Yeah.
better that they get it out of the way before they come.
Yeah. I kind of put on everyone's ed plan, but I just make sure, like
Yeah.
technicalities. All right. Such good questions. Does anybody else have any more questions? Anna's a really good resource here.
And I did have my phone number if you have if anything comes up. I know sometimes they don't come up, the questions don't come up until after the meeting. So text me
Yeah.
if you have questions. You'll probably see me around quite a bit if and when you
Perfect.
transfer to Cal State LA.
Perfect.
No matter what option you go into, anyone that is going into the teacher preparation program, or rather into the teaching credential program, typically ends up talking to me for the credentialing requirements. So I know you talked about the letters of recommendation, the philosophy statement, all of that is taken care of once you're here because your main focus is getting into Cal State LA. That's your focus right now. Once you're here, we'll focus on everything else for the credential.
All right, perfect. So if nobody has any more questions, then we'll thank Anna for her time today, taking time to come and talk to us about the different programs at Cal State LA and what you guys need to do on our end first. Um, if there's no questions, then I guess everyone is good to go. And thank you so much for your time, Anna, and spending your afternoon with us.
Of course, thank you all for having me. I appreciate your
Yeah.
time.
And her
And
cell phone
I
number's
look,
there.
yeah, I
Just
look
don't
forward
text her
to
at
seeing you all here.
midnight.
Yeah, just not at midnight. I try to answer as quickly as possible, but yeah, if it's late, I will not.
No, like 8 to 5, everyone, 8 to 5.